Sprintf allows you to take a string that has dynamic values like you see here in line 18, and it allows you to put out a cleaner, simpler, more translatable, friendly version of the same thing. So you can see right here I have a string that's being internationalized, and it says my name is, then you break it up and concatenate the name variable with and I like and the like variable. And you got to remember the spaces. Don't forget the spaces. You know, did you mess up? Did you forget to open and close your quotes? This is just messy from a general perspective, but this is also not really translatable because there's these dynamic variables in here, and that's just not how translations work. But it does physically work. There's a better way though. What if we were to use something cooler like sprintf, and we were to internationalize and give it our whole string just like you would write it? And then instead of putting in variables, we use these things called placeholders. And then those placeholders would then correspond to these variables in order the way we have them laid out here. Wouldn't that be really neat? Let's look at that. So you can see where if I refresh, I get the exact same result, except I have a string that is actually translatable, and I also have something that's just easier to read and understand what's going on. How cool is that? Let's take this a step further. Have you ever had to take something like this? This is a more practical use case probably, where you have a link, and this link goes, and you have an href that then breaks, and we're concatenating all kinds of different variables into this, making sure we don't miss a quotation or a space. Wouldn't it be nice if there was a better way to output this same link? Well, again, there is sprintf. We can just put the whole string within here, and we can again play our placeholders S and D, S and D and whatever, and then we can line up these variables in according to the order in which they have. So this one right here is going to take the place of this, and then this ID is going to take the place of this. If you're wondering about the S's and the D's, what are those? Well, if we look at the manual, we will see that these are the placeholders, and they have different ones for different things. For example, we're using lowercase s, which means we're trying to represent a string, and this D means we're trying to treat it as an integer. So let's save this and let's take a look at it. Again, we get the exact same result, except it's a much cleaner way to display this. There's one more thing you need to know with sprintf, and that is argument swapping. So before, when we were doing this, I was just putting in a placeholder, but now you can see that my placeholder looks a little different because now I have this $S and I have a number in there. What this is doing is this is allowing me to on the fly change which one of these variables gets plugged in without actually having to reorder the order in which I actually have them placed out here. Now, this isn't a very good use case for internationalization because of these dynamic variables or strings, but you can see that in certain languages, sometimes you need to restructure the sentence so that certain objects come before others. And what this argument swapping allows you to do is it gives your translations the ability to change up these on the fly and output something different. So if I do this now, you'll see that your city is the zip code, and then your zip code is the city. But if I go back in here and I change this and refresh, you can see that it swaps it around, and all I did was change the numbers. So argument swapping is another thing that you need to know about sprintf. So there you have it. That's all you need to know about sprintf. There's a lot more you should learn. I'm going to link to some really cool articles, especially within WordPress, about using sprintf within theme development, as well as using sprintf correctly for internationalization. That's all I got. That's all the time I have. Bye.
Crank it up.